if we don't have purpose and we don't understand the four basic things about money, which is not just the spending and saving, but the earning and giving. Spreadsheets and math may track aspects, but it's not the totality of money. Money's a philosophical construct. It's a man-made tool of efficiency for us to exchange with one another, and it represents stored value, but it doesn't reflect our potential or determine our destiny. I am money, I don't grow on trees for kids. There was a study by The Economist, and in that study in 2013, as they tried to teach kids money, years later they found out when they taught kids money in school, they were worse off than not being taught. And part of that might be teachers are already bombarded. Like, I don't do well teaching what the teachers are supposed to teach. Math should be the same as it always was. It's different. I don't understand. And so I struggle with that. I could imagine that a teacher now who's on a W-2 salary, who looks at money very differently than maybe an entrepreneur, or maybe different than someone that makes their money at a totally different way or totally different amounts. It might be hard for them to grasp the concept, and they might bring their own beliefs and misperceptions into that situation. And if we make it really boring and dry, which people around money tend to do, the kids can actually have a negative emotion around that. If kids at a younger age can take this fun that Julia brings, and here's the secret, if adults get the chance to read it, adults will learn from this book and they don't have to admit they didn't know it all. And I also just recognize, like, of all the books I've read, this book will get read over and over and the most by far, because short books are actually harder to write in some ways. There's that adage saying, sorry for the long letter, I didn't have time to write a short one. So what you remove is what becomes the Michelangelo. And she does a great job of removing the noise and getting to the heart of the matter, making it fun. And I think the message is so simple yet profound that it truly has a chance to make a transformational difference in kids' lives. I knew that adults would read it and have aha without having to say they didn't understand it. When they read a financial book, they've got to go through this process of, did I make a mistake? And does that mistake mean that I failed myself or my family? Does it mean that I'm stupid or bad or wrong? Like, this is kind of an internal dialogue that happens a lot of times. And so I find a lot of people defend their position because it's really sensitive when we make mistakes with money, because money's an extension of how we store our value. And if all of a sudden we have less stored value, it can very easily collapse into our minds and say, well, I'm less valuable. And then we might not overtly say those words, but money has a charge to it. And it's interesting, even though we don't walk around with like a sign saying, here's my net worth, we walk around often with a mindset of what is our net worth. And most people are embarrassed about where they're at, and therefore they try to compensate, or they try to not disclose and keep secret. So rather than have to read a book and be like, well, this one says this is bad, that one said this was good, like, who's right, who's wrong, we're sticking to the basic principles that matter the most. And because it's the basic principles, it doesn't confront someone to be like, I'm bad, I'm wrong. It gives them permission to invest in themselves. It gives them permission to think of themselves as their greatest asset. It gives them permission to think about what skill sets they would like to truly develop, and not just because they look and go, this is good for kids, but they go, why wouldn't this be good for me? And if they can actually embrace that and take a leap of faith in that, they could be the very best example for their kids, because most people are confused and think money's about spreadsheets. Spreadsheets and math may track aspects, but it's not the totality of money. Money's a philosophical construct. It's a man-made tool of efficiency for us to exchange with one another, and it represents like stored value, but it doesn't reflect our potential or determine our destiny. And if we can have that context, because money teaches us in the book and we're teaching our kids, we don't have to feel defensive. It lets the guard down. Same what happens with comedy. People laugh, their defenses are down, they can learn 3 times more. The best things in life are free, but the second best things are very, very expensive. I can make you happy when it comes to the basics, but beyond the basics, your happiness dwells upon your love for yourself and the relationship you have with others, and whether you're in a fulfilling career or engaged in life. Because I know I've been in a situation where I just had money coming in every month, whether I did work or not. And while I was trying to discover what I was going to do next, it was a really miserable time. And that sounds like, oh, feels so bad for me and how privileged you are, you jack. But the bottom line is, if we don't have purpose and we don't understand the 4 basic things about money, which is not just the spending and saving, but the earning and giving. And I find when I'm earning money, doing things that I enjoy, it gives me a lot of, I just feel better. Then it's just nice. Now, this last part in the book where it says some people are afraid to admit they don't know a lot about money. Of course, nobody knows everything. Get to know people who are good with money. Ask questions. Always keep learning. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And if you're enjoying these videos, well, there's good news. More where that came from. So go ahead and click through and watch the next video now.